Yesterday we have covered all the topics in BMM layer. BMM layer. Let's have a quick recap of what we have discussed yesterday. BMM layer of Oracle BI admin tool defines the business. Okay, it defines this layer is where the physical schemas are simplified to business terminologies. And the main purpose of business model is to capture how user thinks about their business using their own vocabulary. And each and every business model have an individual component, or else the main component in business model is called as a business model. Okay, and we have discussed various components in business model, like what is a business model, what is a logical table source, what are logical tables, what are logical columns, what are measures, what are measure columns, what are keys, what are key columns, what are the other general descriptive columns, as well as how we can create some logical columns based on the calculations, or how we can create some logical columns through some calculations from other columns. Okay, and now in today's session we are going to discuss about the other main important topics in this BMM layer. The first topic that I am going to discuss today here is the renaming wizard. Okay, what is the use of this renaming wizard is to rename all the objects in BMM layer at a time. Why? Because let us say if we in real time, if we import a table that contains around 100 to 200 tables, sorry, 100 to 200 columns. It's very tedious process for us to go and right click on every table, click on rename, or else click on F2 and renaming each and every single individual column. Okay, in order to handle such things, we have a tool we have a tool that is given by Oracle for us here in this OBI called as renaming wizard. Using that renaming wizard, we can easily rename all the columns and table names at a single go. Okay, let us go and watch whether how that functions. Okay. In order to go to the renaming wizard, you need to go to tools and utilities. In these utilities, we have a component called as renaming wizard. If we click on execute, then we need to select the business model for which we need to do the particular operations. Click on the particular business model and click on add. After clicking on add, we need to select this particular thing and we need to click on next. Here this particular business model is selected. After this, we need to click on next again. I'm sorry. Here what's happening is when I click on this particular thing and click on this add button, it's just adding only the particular business model. But actually what we need is we need this entire hierarchy. I mean this business model as well as the internal things in this particular business model, that is the corresponding logical tables of this particular business model. Okay, that's the reason after selecting this we need to click on add hierarchy. After clicking on add hierarchy here, then it asks for business model logical, what are the components do you need to rename in this particular hierarchy. Then we need to select all our desired objects in that particular business model, that is this the business model itself, and then this logical table, and then logical table source folder name, logical table source, as well as logical columns. Even we will be renaming all the things from starting from the top of the hierarchy, that is business model, to logical column. Then I will click on next. First of all, what I will do here is I will make all text to lowercase initially, and after that I will make all first letters of each word to capital, and I will be changing occurrence of each underscore into a space. The moment I click on next, what happens is it will be displaying us. It is going to change the following names to that output name. That is, this Chinese underscore year is going to get converted into Chinese year. But what's happening is this year is not, we are not getting this year as capital. So first what we do here is we need to reorder this. That is, first of all, initially what we will be doing is we will be changing the occurrence of underscore into a space initially. After that, we will be converting all text to lowercase, and then we will be connecting first letter of each word to capital. Then the output will be in our desired format, because ordering is very important over here. The moment I click on next, now you can see it's not getting changed. Okay, the output may changes. Then I am going to click on next here. The moment I click on next, see, all underscores were gone. And if you click on this calendar table, it was changed to all underscores were removed. But I don't know why this y is not getting turned into capital. Let us check for this business model as well. Let us do the same thing for this business model, and let's check with the output. Go to tools, utilities, rename wizard, and I'm going to click on execute over here. I'm selecting this entire hierarchy, and after this I'm clicking on next. I'm clicking on next again, and now I'm selecting change occurrence of each underscore into capital. I will be selecting this first, and all text to lowercase, and first letter of each. Okay, previously I have selected this first letter capital, but actually what I need to select is I need to select this first letter of each word capital, I think. Click on next. See, now this year is also converted into capital over here. Chinese underscore year will be connected to Chinese year. Okay, this chn underscore japn underscore month will be get converted into this format. Okay, this is just nothing but just a renaming wizard where we can automatically convert all the column names in a batch process. All the logical column names will be modifying in a batch process. But if but whatever the name that is present is not in a is not as per our requirement, then we can go and manually change that column name as well in this BMM layer. Okay, the moment I click on finish, each and everything will get changed over here. That is, if you click on calendar, each and everything will get changed. Okay, this is all about this renaming wizard. We will be using this renaming wizard many times. Why? Because it's very easy for us to process all logical column names in a batch. Okay, after this I have explained all the basic operations that we are going to perform in this business model and mapping layer. And we do have another 2 or 3 topics left over here. They are like dimensional hierarchies and all. Okay, I will be covering them up after completion of deployment of this RPD into BI server. Why? Because they are like a little bit of advanced concepts. Without having an output view, it's very difficult for us to understand what are these. Okay, now let's move on to presentation layer. Presentation layer is the layer that exposes the business model objects. Okay, this presentation layer is the layer that exposes business model objects in Oracle BI user interface. BI user interface is nothing but this web page. Okay, whatever the way these objects are present in this presentation layer, in the same way they will get replicated over here in this BI user interface. Okay, in whatever the manner they are present in this presentation layer, the same copy will be available over here. That is, if whatever the way we modify things, the objects over here in this presentation layer, the same the same thing will be replicated over here in this user interface. And the user interface is the place where end users will build analysis and dashboards to analyze their data. Okay, the presentation layer objects are the only objects that are visible to end users. In presentation layer, we have following objects. They are the first object is the main top level hierarchy or the top level object in presentation layer. We call it as subject area. Presentation. Whatever the tables that are present in presentation layer, they call them as presentation tables. Whatever the columns that are present under these presentation tables, they are called as presentation columns. And we do have one more other component that is called as hierarchy object. This hierarchy objects comes into picture when after working on hierarchies in this BMM layer. Okay, that is the topic I am lefting now, and I will be discussing that in later point of time. Why? Because after deploying this entire RPD into server, it will be easy for us to understand their functioning. Okay, today we are going to discuss about these three objects, that is subject area, presentation tables, and presentation columns. Subject area is nothing but the main component that is present in this presentation layer. Okay, let's move on and start building a presentation layer. Here the first object, that is we need to create new subject area. We are going to create a subject area for sales. Even here in presentation layer, I will be showing you with the automated way as well as manual way. Okay, let me make this manually. That is, I am going to create a presentation. Sorry, I am going to create a subject area in this presentation layer with the name sales. Sales subject area. Okay, let it be manual. And we are going to create this subject area for this particular business model. Okay, here we need to select business model. And one more thing to remember, very important point to remember is we can create multiple subject areas from a single business model. Single business model. Okay, whereas we can't create a single subject area from multiple business models. Keep a note of this. In interviews, they will be asking these kind of questions to confuse you guys whether you are very well aware of the tool or not. They will be testing you with such confusing questions. Okay, the tree follows like this. With a single physical table, can be used at multiple places. Okay, whatever the objects that are present in a physical layer, we can use them at multiple places in multiple business models and everywhere. The tree follows like this, and from here, from a single business model, we can create multiple subject areas. Okay, the hierarchy always goes from left to right, sorry, right to left. Hierarchy always expands from right to left. Right, it will be like a single thing, and left it will be like multiple things. Okay, just remember this, it's very important, because they will be interviewers will be confusing us a lot with such questions. Now we are going to create a business model over here for this particular sales underscore manual business model. We are going to create a subject area here for this sales underscore manual business model. I'm having a little problem with my speakers here, guys. Let me check. Hello. 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 Fine. Sorry for the pause. Okay, now we have created the main object over here under presentation layer, that is subject area, the first subject area. Here we have created this subject area manually, right? Okay, let's start adding the other components for this here manually even, or else we can just drag and drop. I will show creation of one table manually. New presentation table. We can provide the name for this presentation table as time. Okay, for this time presentation table, I need to, I have already told you guys, right? For a single subject area can be built, sorry, a multiple subject areas can be built from a single business model. If we pull any of the component from this other business model to this subject area, it's not going to accept. See, there is blocked symbol over here. Okay, or if we take any component from here, it's accepting. That is the difference. Okay, in this sales subject area, we have added a new presentation table, that is time. I'm going to add all the components of this calendar component to this time. Now all these logical columns very important, and now all these logical columns in this presentation layer, we call them as presentation columns. In the similar way, I'm going to add these other things as well. This presentation layer is the only layer that is exposed to the end users, right? Here, whatever the customizations we want to do, we are going to do each and every single customization over here only. Okay, as per the business requirements, as per the way how our business analysts give the document for us, right? These all the things needs to be placed in this particular order. All such operations, all the presentation kind of activities needs to be performed in this presentation layer only. Let us say in this particular subject area, we are very least bothered about these components. If we want to delete them, we can delete them. And one more thing, that is renaming over here. We can provide all our customized names over here. Let us say initially what happens in presentation layer is it will be pulling all the names from BMM layer only. Okay, it will be pulling all the names from the source of that particular table. If you want to view the source here, whatever the details of the particular components or objects that are present in business model, their address will be available here in LTS, right? Here it is getting the reference from this Oracle database supplied to schema, and d underscore customers physical table. For in presentation layer, the reference of objects is available at aliases, or else see here. Here we have the complete source information. Here the reference value will be like the address in BMM layer. For all the components in presentation layer, for all the objects in presentation layer, their reference will be the address, whatever the address they are present in BMM layer. For whatever the components that are present in BMM layer, their reference address will be the corresponding objects in physical layer. For whatever the objects in physical layer, or for whatever the metadata that is present in layer, their main reference will be from whatever the database or data warehouse. Okay, the hierarchy of these layers follows in this way. Okay, here let us say here we have something called as DAGO. Here we have, I am not comfortable with this name. Okay, but as per the business terminology, here here a BMM layer will be completely built on end user perspective as well as our reporting as perspective. Here we are much comfortable with for our identification purpose, we are much comfortable in providing in prefixing F for fact tables and D for dimension tables. But whereas end user is not at all bothered about what is this dimension or what is this fact. Okay, end user, there is no need for end user about what dimension is and what fact is. He just need a report with the particular column name. If that column names are available, he is very happy at the end. He is not at all bothered about what is dimension, and he is not at all bothered about all technical terminologies. So we can rename everything over here. Click on F2, or you can do that by right click and rename. We will be removing each and everything over here. And after this, see this, I just start off renaming this DAGO. When I double click on this DAGO, I can't change this initially. But why I was unable to change this is we have checked this checkbox here. What is this checkbox here is use logical column name. Logical column means nothing but it is using whatever the name that is present here in this logical column. Okay, if you uncheck that, then you can change this name. Initially we don't have anything over here in this alias, right? The moment you uncheck and the moment you change this name to date ago and you click on OK, a reference is getting generated over here. Why? Because this name, whatever the name that we have provided here, is not available over here. So it created an alias for the original name, and this was treated as an alias for this, and this is just used for display purpose. But internally it is getting connected to this, and this is connected to whatever the logical column that is present in this business model and mapping layer. This is cool, right? One thing, this name has been changed perfectly. If you change whatever the names that are present here in this BMM layer itself, let us say this Muslim here. I just want to rename this. If I rename this to M here and click on OK, click on enter, immediately it will get reflected here. Why? Because here we are using this logical column name. If you want to, if as per the requirements, if you want to change names in presentation layer, it's our responsibility to change names over here in this presentation layer. Rajesh is asking a doubt whether why can't we do this same in BMM. In BMM, we will be creating all these joins, logical joins, and we will be working on this stuff, right? In order to avoid confusions, we will be having we will be placing all our all the suffixes and all the things as per our perspective. That is like adding D for dimensions, F for facts, and all. Okay, but end user is not much bothered about these things over here. And one more, the requirements comes in such a way like uh, for for some people may call some things in some way, like if it is like banking perspective, we have something called obligor, credits, ledger, and all that. But if coming to the customer point of view, they don't understand what is this obligor, what is their commitment, what is their ledger, and all. They don't understand what all these banking languages and banking things. Okay, for the customer convenience, we need to provide names in such a way that the end user should understand whatever the name that we are going to provide. Okay, for doing such activities, it's the business demands for us. The business demands reporting guys to change the names as per the customer terminologies even. Okay, in order to satisfy such requirements, we need to modify the names over here in this presentation layer as well at sometimes. Okay, now this renaming part is also complete over here. And of coming to the ordering part. Okay, in subject area we have a requirement, our business analyst gives a requirement that I should see customer details at the top. I should see customer details folder that is present in my this report development page. I should see these customer details at the top. Why? Because initially the first preference or my first selection would be like customer only. So for my convenience, I request you guys to place this customers folder at the top. Then, in order to do such activities, if it is in business model and mapping layer, Raj, you have asked this. Even this thing we can't do this in business. In BMM layer, we can't reorder the whatever the tables and columns that we import into BMM layer. Okay. In order to group them together, if we suffix them with all this D, or if we suffix them with their order like D1, D2, and D3, they will be in an order. They will be placed in an order over here. We can place all the dimensions in an order and followed by facts. After D, we will be providing F, and whatever the objects that are present in a business model, they will be organized as per alphabetical order only. We can't reorder the things in BMM. We don't have any option to reorder. See, we don't have an option to reorder things over here. But coming to this subject area part, we can reorder things. See, we can select and we can reorder whatever the components that are present over here. As per the requirement, I need to move these customer details to first. Okay, all these kind of presentation activities like ordering and all the renaming activities. Okay, end-to-end renaming, everything can happen over here in this presentation layer. Even this thing is complete. Okay, this is all about reordering part. And after this, and we can do one more activity over here in presentation layer, that is creating hierarchy folders up to one level. That is creating hierarchy folders up to one level. And the requirement will be like here we are having all these different columns over here. We call these columns as presentation columns. In this orders table, here these yellow things are all measures, and all the other things are key columns. We will not be using key columns much in our reports, but as per for some requirements we need to use them. But it's better if we hide them in a folder, if we separate them in a folder, and if you place all these regularly used components in one folder. Okay, if you want to organize all these yellow things into one folder, and if you want to organize all these key columns into one folder, then we can create nested tables for the particular table. Okay. Now let us see whether how we can do that. In order to create nested tables, what we need to do is double click on the subject area and add a new item over here, that is adding a new table. I'm naming this as measures, and I'm going to create one more additional thing, that is keys. But while defining these things, we need to give them an identity that these whatever the folders that we are whatever the tables that we are created falls under hierarchy tables. For that, we can do that with two ways. Eventually we need to place whatever the table, if you want to treat two presentation tables and as a hierarchy under a particular table. Okay, then what we need to do is, let us say now we are going to create here orders is main table. Under orders we need measures and keys. Okay, if you want to create nested folders under a main folder, then we need to give an identity to the tool that the particular folder that now we are going to the particular table that now we are going to create is a table that should be present under a particular main parent table. Okay, in order to do that, what we need to provide is we need to provide a hyphen followed by a space in its name. This is one way. Okay, we need to just, I am repeating this once again, we need to provide hyphen followed by space while naming it. Okay, then tool identifies that this particular table will be nested under the other table that is present in on the top of this table as in the order. This is one way. Okay, then now it's treated as hierarchy table, and I'm going to modify this as well. The other way is in the description part. Generally we will be ignoring this description, but while development we will be writing a description part like this table was created for the so and so purpose and all. But in description part you need to provide hyphen followed by greater than symbol. If you give this symbol, then the tool identifies that this table is nested under some parent table. Here, then after this you can provide your desired description. This table contains all the keys, key columns. Click on OK. Now these two tables will be nested under this orders table over here. Okay. After this, then we need to move all the tables from this main table to this sub table. See, now under this main table we do have this sub table. Here it's not visible properly over here, but if you deploy them into the server, then it will be very clearly visible for us. Let me show you an example here. This is some other RPD. The moment I click on this, it will get created like this, like measures. Under measures we will be having the whatever the measure columns that we have sent into that measures folder, and onto the key column the other key columns will be available over here. Okay, this is cool, fine, right? This is all about nested folders in presentation table. These are all the operations that we are going to perform in presentation layer over here. and this is all about presentation layer. And we do only one. I have left out with only one topic over here, that is this hierarchy object. This hierarchy object will be covered when I create dimensional hierarchies in this business model and mapping layer. Okay, this comes to an end of building a repository, guys. That is end means it's not a complete end, because we do need to discuss a lot of advanced topics in this repository building activities. But as of now, I have completed the basic repository building activity, that is like constructing a hello world program in Java. Okay, the basic activity of the basic RPD development activity is complete with this. Okay, but we do have many more advanced concepts that we are going to perform in this business BMM layer and presentation layer. Presentation layer is all about presentation, and one more activity that we are going to perform on presentation layer will be like security. We will be implementing some security activities in this presentation layer. Okay. Then we are going to cover up with this the other tabs. We have covered this tab and this tab here, and when we comes with this dimensional hierarchies part, then we are going to cover with what this hierarchies tab is about, and this child presentation tab is all about. Okay, and one more activity that we will be performing in presentation layer is will be defining some security, whether this subject area should be available to the particular user or not, and all such activities. We will be doing all such activities here in this permissions button. Okay. In this permissions button, we will be doing all such activities, and all the remaining other tabs were covered up here. Fine, right? This is fine, right? By this, the basic RPD building activity is complete. Okay, and after this, we are going to spend some more time on building BMM layer. Why? Because the entire operational part consists only the most working part, the layer in which we are going to spend most of our life will be in this BMM layer only. Okay. This presentation layer is nothing but this renaming. It is used only for this renaming purpose. Even now I have covered all these topics, I think, in just half an hour, right? Even in development, while we are developing RPD in real time, I mean, this happens. This presentation layer building part won't consume much time, but we need to spend a lot of time in building this BMM layer. Even as of now, we have constructed this BMM layer very simply, but if we jump into the advanced topics and as per the requirement, it takes a lot of time for us in working in BMM layer. That is, we need to create some things called as dimensional hierarchies, where we will have some components like drill down components. Okay, it's not the right time to discuss all about them now. Okay, let's discuss them practically during our next sessions. Okay, this is the main the basic RPD building activity is complete as of now. Do you guys have any doubts in this up to whatever the areas that we have covered here up to now? Because after this, from tomorrow, I'll be jumping on into some more advanced concepts, because if we don't understand anything over here, then they are going to create a lot of confusion for us. Okay, the presentation layer is almost is completely I have completed it completely. Okay, we have some other 20 more minutes. Okay, let's do this part now. Yesterday we have created this calculated column, right? we have created this pending orders calculated column from these two logical columns. Okay, we do have some other ways to create calculated columns or to create some additional logical columns in this BMM layer. Okay, now let's see in what the other ways that we can create these logical columns. The first way that we have covered today, that is creating calculations based on logical columns. Based on Now we are going to see how we can create that calculations based on physical columns. And we can create calculations using we have a particular wizard. Using that wizard we can create calculated columns that is called as using. Okay, now let's discuss the other two things today, and we can end up our session after these things. Okay, now we are going to discuss how we are going to create additional logical columns based on physical columns. In order to do that, just click on this sales, click on new object. Okay, in order to do that, we need to proceed from this LTS. Here in this LTS, it's getting referred to this particular supplier to orders. Okay, now in this column mapping part, we are going to create one more additional column over here. I need to provide a name to that. Okay, pending orders. I'm providing name as pending orders. As we are creating is from physical tables, I'm adding a prefix physical. Click on OK. But for this thing, we don't have any source. Here it's stating it as kind of expression here, right? We didn't have any source. It's not referring to any physical table over here. Now I am going to provide a reference of some calculation from physical tables. I am going to say, for that, what we need to click on over here, and we need to click on this edit expression button. The moment we click on this edit expression button, there we have all the physical tables will be available over here. If we pass it through this folder, yesterday we have seen this physical tables tab will not be available in the expression builder over there. That is using building a column from existing logical columns. There only logical tables will be available there. But if it is in LTS have a direct connection with physical tables, right? So in LTS we have these physical tables. Click on these physical tables, and the physical tables that is connected to this particular LTS, it will be like orders. Okay, the moment you click on this select this orders physical table, then you need to do calculations on physical tables directly over here. That is units ordered. Click on the units ordered and insert selected item minus unit ship. Click on OK and click on OK. See, now the pending orders, that is physical, has been created, but it is not treating it as an aggregated column. Why? Because we have created this table now from logical table source, and this table is getting reference from this column is getting reference from the physical columns. This logical column is referring data from physical columns, and here in physical columns we don't have an option to provide to define aggregation rules over here. So it's treating it as a normal column only. Now we need to double click manually and we need to set aggregation over here. Then it will be treated as a aggregated measure. Okay. Now we have created this column based on this procedure, that is based on physical columns. Now I am going to build another column using calculation wizard. We do have one wizard called as calculation wizard. In order to create a column using calculation wizard, right clicks on unit order. Okay, as we are going to perform a subtraction between this thing and this thing, to do that just right click on this thing. Here we have something called as calculation wizard. After selecting this, click on next, and we need to provide the reference to which other column you need to perform operation with this particular column that you have selected. That is, you need to provide unit shipped over here. Okay, here some options are getting disabled. Okay, now I have selected this unit ship. Initially what I have done is I have right clicked on unit sorted, and now it is asking for the other operand, or what is a operator, to which it's need to get do some calculations. Okay, after selecting that particular thing, click on next. Here it's asking for change. Change means what is the difference. If you want it in percentages, then you can check this, or else if you don't want this, you can uncheck this. I just want the difference, right? So I'm just not using this thing. Okay, I'm just unchecking this thing. But it should allow me to create a name over here, but I don't know why it's not allowing me. Okay, the moment I click on next, see, it's not allowing me here, but it's getting created over here. That is, it is giving name automatically as CHG and unit shift. Change is nothing but the difference. But if you check this, it's allowing me to provide a name over here. I'm unchecking this now. No, it's not accepting. At the moment to click on next, it is automatically giving a name, change shift. The moment we click on finish, everything it gets completed. See, this change unit shift is created now. This is through, I'm renaming it through like calculation wizard. Okay, after the moment we deploy this entire RPD into our BI server, what I think, if all our operations are correct, both these three values should be same, because we have used we have followed different procedures, but the calculation should be the same. Okay, now by this I have covered all the three other topics even. Okay, by this the basic building activity of RPD is complete, guys. Okay, I just want to make sure that you guys should be clear with all the topics till I have cleared, in order to proceed with the next steps tomorrow. Why? Because if you don't understand anything over here, it, it's going to be a mess for you guys tomorrow. So I just want to make sure whether you guys are clear with all the topics that I have covered till now. Okay, is everything clear for everyone up to now? Is everything clear for you, Harish?
Yeah, everything is okay.
Okay. Can we stop here for the day? It's about 9:50. Okay. I am uploading everyday's class by evening in YouTube. Do practice, do practice, guys, or else it will create a lot of confusion for you whether how the things are coming and all. Okay. If you don't do any practice, it's of no use. Okay. Practice is very important. Okay, let's stop here for the day. Okay. Uh,
Bye.